What's good, Des Moines? Welcome to another episode of Invitation by Invictus. Today, I have my friend, Rachelle Little. The reason why I asked her to come on is because Rachelle, I don't know, I think people know, but maybe they don't know, but you've got this side business, the side hustle.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And maybe a few of them even.
Yeah. I've known you for a long time, and I've always known that you've always got your hand in something.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that something today.
Okay.
So tell us about what you've been up to and why you got into it.
So specifically around the home improvement stuff, that's what we're focusing on. Yeah. I think it all kind of started because I just knew that I was fairly handy and I needed a way to express some of my creative side in a way that was very tangible.
Okay.
A lot of times investing in those little hobbies just felt frivolous. And to me, home improvement was one of those where it was like, I could go all in on it and then see something from that.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, badass. I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. That's amazing.
Because you bought your home.
I did. Yep.
When did you buy your home?
It would have been in 2018 for this house particular.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just pretty much just remodeled the crap out of it.
It's in flight because it's been an ongoing, very slow process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first project you did?
Very first one, it was aside from just painting.
Yeah.
And that's I'm not slighting that at all. Painting can be a big project.
It's a bitch.
It is. It is. And it has a tedious aspect to it. And so unless you like that kind of thing, you're probably like, oh my God, I got to paint. And, people don't want to do that.
I hated doing that.
Yes.
When we painted all this, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. The cutting in and the rolling and the paying attention to all the things. Yeah. But I would say, but I like painting. So that was a no big deal for me. Mm-hmm. The biggest one was, I have this U-shape, thing in my kitchen. A lot of the 90s homes here in the Des Moines Metro have this, where it's a very long, open space from living room to kitchen. Yeah. And the kitchen has this, it's not an island. It's like a U-shaped peninsula that comes out of that.
Yeah.
And my sink is in the corner of it. And there's this big dead space that was right behind it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that sucks. And with having 3 dogs, I also had this big bin of dog food that I needed to keep. I was like, I wonder if I could put that in there somehow. Yeah. So I decided, I'm going to just cut a hole in that. I mean, what's the worst you can do, right? So I bought my first power tool. It was what they call a multi-tool or an oscillating tool. And I remember very vividly, starting that first, plunge into the cabinet. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to get there. So I hit it and I go a little bit in and it breaks through. And I'm like, oh, cool, I did something. Yeah. And then I cut a hole and then I realized there's 3 other layers of cabinet I need to go through. And I was like, in my head, I could not conceptualize how cabinets were built. Okay. What I was going to actually invoke on going into that thing. And so it was a journey just to cut a hole in the side of the damn cabinet to see what was in there. What was it made of? What made up this whole thing? And then starting the process of figuring out, I guess it needs to be this size. And then what kind of door am I going to put? How am I going to close it again? Yeah. Right? All of these slide out things. It just was this building process to figure out how I was going to accomplish what I actually kind of had in my mind. Mm-hmm. I went in with no real plan other than I'm going to cut a hole in the side of my cabinet and see what happens.
So how did you prepare for that? YouTube?
No.
You just did it?
I just did it.
And then figured it out as you went?
Yeah. And it was one of those where I had to settle with myself. What was the worst case scenario? I'm going to have to fix a hole, right? Or hire somebody to fix a hole. Okay. I mean, in my head, how hard could it be to just put some more plywood up and cover it up and nobody will ever know? Right? Yeah. Okay. That was an exit strategy. So with any project I've been going into, I kind of think about the exit strategy up front. Yeah. What's the word? What's the worst?
What's your backup plan?
Yeah. What's your backup plan?
Yeah.
Worst case, I mean, why not try it? Try it and see. And if it goes bad, call in a professional to come in and fix it. Yeah.
But I think you're a professional now.
Nah, I don't get paid to do it. So,
but you want to.
I would like to be able to at least get paid to help people go on that journey, because that journey that I went on was so liberating. And I think back to earlier houses and being in domestic situations where I was not encouraged to do and explore that journey and own the house and love the house that I lived in. I just was in this place that existed. And it was so liberating to realize that I have control over the house and the home that I live in and make it what I want. And then being able to just lean into that. And it's a momentum thing, because once you start going, then the world opens up and you can start doing more and more. And it just has started to open the floodgates.
Yeah. And since then, you've worked on numerous like large projects.
Yeah. I'm currently almost rolling a year into this master bathroom closet remodel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a big one. And it's a 1,000 little projects rolled into one big project.
Right.
And that's how I've been tackling it, because everything I've been doing has been on the weekends, weekend only. And I think that's one thing that, we think about timelines of how long it takes to do some of these projects. You get a quote from a contractor or professional, and they want to come in and bust it out in a couple of days, right? And you pay for that time, that speed to be able to do that. But if you're okay with a timeline that goes longer and that you can work through it, then you don't have to pay for someone else to come in and do that for you.
Yeah. And is that something that you want to do? You want to work with people on taking these projects and then showing them basically becoming a resource for them?
Yeah, I think that's really where I find the most passion, through the Instagram, sharing that stuff through Instagram and watching other people go on their journey, and then having folks reach out to me about the journeys that they're on and asking for advice. Yeah. I get a lot of joy and satisfaction from helping someone get over a hurdle, or even just get started on that next thing that they want to do. I love that piece of it, because I feel like everybody can do these projects if you just can get going and maybe have a little bit of something to start with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the do it yourself, the DIY,
the coach, the buddy, and I've even explored like local friends. If you want to start on this project but you don't have the tools, because that's an investment, right? Yeah. That's a huge investment. But you want to learn, you want to try. Bring me in to come and do it with you, right? I can coach you along the way, share all of my experience that I have had. Yeah. And we can solve the problem together. We can work on it together.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to reach out and get your help, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Probably I would start with my Instagram page. I've got links to my email and all of that. Okay. It's Rachelle.at.home. And I do have a website, RachelleAtHome.com, that will also kind of set you up with contact info. I do have, just kind of trying to be proactive and put it out there into the world to make it happen. I do have a way for you to set up 15-minute free consultation sessions, like schedule with me for sure, just to talk, work through, is this something that's doable? And that's what I have a lot of conversations with folks is this something I can do?
Myself.
Yeah. Just do it. Or am I is this a huge risk that I'm jumping into? Maybe it's a little more than I should.
So you share with them the backup plan.
Yeah, the backup plan. And I ask, what's your backup plan? What are you going to do in the event that this goes wrong or goes haywire? What's your plan? What's your exit strategy?
So you're just not an IT person. No. You're a DIY coach.
Coach. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Rachelle.
Yeah.
And that's RachelleAtHome.com.
Rachelle.at.home. Yep. HOME.
Okay.
Yeah. But your website is RachelleAtHome.com.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen the podcast, right? Yeah. We'll scroll all that. We do a comprehensive deep dive.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Which is always a little nervous too, when you're someone's going to go back digging through all the things I've done over the last few years.
I don't know about that, but you did go viral a couple times. I do know that.
I have. Yeah. I mean, Instagram, I feel is one of those where I'm trying to have a great relationship with Instagram, and I'm putting all my effort and love into it. Yeah. TikTok's the girl that won't leave me alone. I have way more followers and have gone viral numerous times on TikTok without even trying, which is just weird. But it's those projects like that very first one that I was talking about that went viral because it's so attainable, right? It's a multi-tool, an oscillating tool and a cabinet. It's really not a whole lot of skill or even experience that takes to get into that.
So you can muck it up and it won't be that bad.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It seemed very attainable versus a master bathroom remodel is oh boy.
Oh, that's a huge undertaking.
It is.
Yeah. I'm a bad lesbian, FYI. I have 0 power tools. My partner's got more power tools than me. I was telling the kids the other day that I was I don't have enough flannel or enough power tools to like be in this world.
That's funny.
So
I actually have, through some guys at work, as they hear about what I'm doing, we spend a lot of time talking about their own projects. And
you're coaching them essentially.
Sometimes, sometimes. Or, I've created a Facebook group here. I just moved it over to a Facebook group.
Okay.
That is a community for people to just talk shop. And I called it The Shop.
Okay.
And just the other day, I posted something about an upcoming project that I'm working on, an idea. And I got some really good feedback from others that kind of shifted how I was going to go about doing that. It changed my plan.
Okay.
And it was just great to be able to communicate about that type of stuff that's of interest, that maybe is a niche interest that not all your friends want to hear about. Like, not all my friends want to hear about home improvement.
I think low key they kind of do, because, most people have a home or they have a project, right? And that either they're doing it or they're thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
And that's called The Home on Facebook?
It's called The Shop. So my my Instagram page has a Facebook page. I don't know, right? And then there's a group in that. So Rachelle.at. Or I think it's Rachelle DIY.
Do you have like a link tree type thing?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So they can just click that.
Yep. The very top one is join my free community. And it'll link you over to that Facebook group.
And how many people are in your community so far?
Right now, I think we maybe just hit about 40 because I just moved it over from a different platform.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually seeing a better take rate on that. So it's fairly small. And I think that's nice right now because it's definitely, I'm trying to keep it a safe, environment. I have a lot of female followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of my male friends who are wanting to come in to that community and be a part of that.
Okay.
And they want to share in that thing. And I'm trying to be super inclusive and not very targeted at women, but I really do want to empower women to pick up a power tool and do these things and not just sit back and say, my partner will be the one that will do this and take care of this for me.
Oh, my creative partners do this. Hunter did this. He did that. He was like, I know how to hang things up.
Did you DIY the neon too?
No.
I just watched a TikTok on how to do that. Now I'm like, well, damn, I want to try that.
Well, shit, where were you like 2 weeks ago?
I know.
I would have saved a crap ton of money.
Probably.
When it came, it didn't turn on. And I was like, this came all the way from China. This is not cool. And then I was like, oh, wait. It wasn't plugged. It's got wires. It's got to be connected. One of the things that came out, one of the connectors came out. So I was like, oh, I know how to fix this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go. Now you are just a little bit smarter on all things neon. You're a pro.
Not really. It's just, I just saw it wasn't connected right. It came out, the screw was loose. So.
It's good problem solving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I felt pretty proud at that moment.
You should have been. Absolutely.
I don't need a power tool for that. I just needed a screwdriver.
Well, you worked through a problem, right?
Yeah.
You encountered an issue and you could have said, I don't know, it's broken, I'm done, and left it to somebody else. But you took the onus to go in and figure out what it was and solve the problem.
Yeah. That's pretty much what you do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of those things is that if you can scope the problem down to something that you can control and start working through those issues, you can start to narrow it down and not be overwhelmed by how big some of these things start to really look at.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I really try to share with my followers on Instagram specifically is, and it's a carryover from my technology work that I do in my full-time job.
Yeah.
Taking big projects and breaking them down into smaller ones that you can iterate on and work on and drive continuous value, constantly moving forward, you can start to just kind of grow and build on that.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's not so much about the projects. Like, you're not trying to be a general contractor, right?
Not at all.
Right. So like, that's that big misconception.
Yeah.
Right. You're just trying to be a really good resource or a coach for people that want to go down that path.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I know that there's going to be things that people are like, hey, can you just do this? Like paint my cabinets or do something. I'm like, yeah, sure, I suppose I could do that. But my first question always is, are you sure you don't want to learn how to do it? In fact, I just recently was engaging with someone on Facebook about that. And they were like, who can I hire to, paint this thing? I'm like, you realize that that's a really easy job, right? would you be interested in just learning how to do it?
Okay.
Can I coach you to just I don't even need to do it. Like, can I just convince you that you can do this yourself with a little bit of knowledge and understanding that you don't need to pay somebody to do that?
Yeah.
I really want to empower as many people to get out and do those things. And if I can do it through coaching, I'd love to get more workshops. I've done a couple of workshops.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I did last year. I brought a couple of folks in to build it was a tree, a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And they learned how to cut with a miter saw and use drills and screw things together. And it was just this whole process of going through measuring and cutting and using the power tools safely, breaking through those fear barriers that they might have of utilizing those things. And now it's like, now that I've done it, okay, now what can I do with that? Where can I take that next? How can I apply that skill I just learned and use it for something else?
Okay.
Growing on that. I love that piece. Seeing the aha moments in people's eyes as they like use that miter saw for the first time and their fingers didn't get cut off.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Or, using a drill. When's the appropriate time to use a drill versus a driver? And when, working through some of those little things that can make any of these tasks seem really daunting.
Yeah.
I've even had requests like, can you just teach me how to figure out what size screw I need to use? Like, that seems simple, but there's actually a whole lot that goes into that decision.
Right. Yeah. So what's don't you have a workshop coming up?
No.
Or are you just kind of talking about it?
I'm just kind of talking about it at this point.
Okay.
I've got a couple things I would love to be able to do. I need some time. I need some time availability.
Yes, you're a very, very busy person.
Self-imposed, right?
It's always self-imposed because we're just all gluttons for punishments.
We absolutely are.
Yeah. Because the other free time that you do have, you're the vice president of Raise the Bar Initiative.
Yeah.
My partner, Abby, if you guys don't know, is the president, and then Rachelle is the vice president. So I see her either on Marco Polo or FaceTime or at our house. Yeah. So
yeah, and there's just a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes in behind the scenes to make an operation. And from where that started and where Abby and Annie started that, back in 2018 and where it's grown to today, and the teams that we're building and what we're trying to do to really get out there and drive this empowerment out. There's just a lot of behind the scenes work that happens. And Abby and I are both we're going to just get it done, do what's needed to get it done and then look ahead and say, how can we do that better going forward? How can we put systems in place? So there's a lot of that. There's just a lot of that that's going on. And so we are in one of those moments right now where our organization is growing so rapidly that we're just having to scrap together and figure out how are we going to make this work? Let's get her done. And then we'll put systems in place.
Yeah. Because you are the systems gal.
Yeah. I like that. I like systems. And I always like to joke that I like systems and processes because I'm lazy. And people are like, you're not lazy. I'm like, I really am. I don't want to work any harder. I want to work smarter, not harder.
I 1000% agree with that. Yeah. I mean, don't I say that all the time, Hunter? Work smarter, not harder, gang.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I'm having to do something stupid because I think I joked the other day on Instagram that efficient processes are my love language. If I can hand over something, like all you have to do is just execute.
Correct. Yeah.
I love you.
Get it done.
Yes, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're part-time coaching, part-time, but it's like full-time in Raise the Bar, right? Yeah. And then you have a full-time job.
I do have a full-time job.
So it's like, when do you have all this time, Rachelle?
I don't. I probably stay up way too late some nights. But because I've got my toes dipped into so many things I'm passionate about, that it's just such a fuel in there that just keeps you going. And I'm definitely sleep deprived often. Don't drink enough water. Don't work out enough. Like we all do. But it fills my heart. And so that's where, I just get so much joy from doing all of these things in a way that can give back to others and also selfishly, make me feel good at the same time.
Yeah. So again, you can check you out on Instagram, your website, and then there's the Raise the Bar website, which will float in here. And then, and so we've got that. float. It's just magic.
It's magic.
Yes.
Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all magic done by Hunter.
Right. Hunter
builds the templates and we execute.
Absolutely.
That's how it works. See? So
love language.
Yeah. It's also helpful that Hunter has a graphic design background.
Yes.
So for sure.
That's always the hard part. When you do have skills like this, you start getting pulled into so many things because there's so many things today are elevated if you have these little niche skills that you can apply to it. Yeah.
So do you think you've always going back to the DIY thing? I mean, do you think you've always had it or it was something it was just dormant and you just had to bring it out?
No, I've always been the crafty one. I've always been the one that was taking things apart and putting things together.
Yeah.
That's always been that's my engineering background coming out there as well.
Okay.
But I have always been the crafty, arty one, wants to paint, wants to draw, wants to, use a sewing machine, wants to use a hot glue gun to make pretty things. That's always been my jam. I think back, even early on, I had a dining room table early on buying my first house, stuff that I wanted that I couldn't afford. So how can I take cheaper things and make them look nicer?
Yeah.
How do I do that? Okay. So go down that path and start down those things. And again, that's just those base skills that then grow and
translate
get bigger.
Into something
Absolutely.
else. Yeah.
They're so foundational with some of those things to just, take it to the next level.
Right. For those that also don't know, Rachelle makes dope ass cookies. Did you get a new printer?
I did. It's so nerdy, but I love it. Yeah, it's a direct-to-food edible inkjet printer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun.
She made cookies for us. I've been the only one eating them.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're all on diets.
What?
They're in their 20s on diets.
No. Wah-wah.
Yeah.
No.
I've been slowly tackling them. I don't care. As long as I work out, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yes, that's why I always try to have a home for all the cookies I'm doing because I don't work out enough. So I need to make sure they're not at home because I do. They're actually, I got that cookie recipe and icing recipe to a point that it's what I want to eat.
Correct.
I like it. So I need them to not be in my house.
Correct. Yeah, I can only eat one every so often.
Yeah.
So I've been slowly going through the cookies.
Good.
I think they're delicious.
Fantastic. Love that.
And so do you make cookies for people? They pay you to make them, or you just make them for fun?
I am slowly dipping back into that. We have a huge cookie market actually here in the Des Moines Metro. I don't know that a lot of people know that. And there's some amazing cookiers here. It's not something that I have capacity to really go all in to be able to make it something that really is worth my time and money. But with this cookie printer, getting into being able to mass produce logo cookies, things that don't require a lot of artistic time. Yeah. Which I do love doing the artistic cookies. Yeah. And I do those for my friends and family, the ones that just take a lot of hours of labor.
Your entire weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to do that. But I do like being able to produce something that I can hand off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be proud of.
Yeah. Or, this little printer, which is so nerdy, again, I know it is, but being able to do things that would help other cookiers in the area. So if they have smaller things that they want to add touches into cookie sets that they're doing for some of their clients, I could help with some of that stuff. I can print on these little royal icing transfers. I can make little things that would actually make it easier for them to do their stuff.
So they could reach out to you and be Rachelle, make this for me.
Yeah. So I'm still in the learning phase. I'm practicing some stuff right now so that I can reach back out to my cookier community and say, hey, I can be a resource for you. Yeah. Again, back to that whole thing. I like helping people do the things that they want to do. Yes. I don't necessarily need to be at the forefront doing all the stuff.
But you're not, so you're a helper, but you're not an Enneagram 2 helper.
No, I'm an 8. I'm gonna get shit done.
Same here. Hello.
Which we've talked about that though. We're actually kind of different, different on the spectrum of 8s.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, I think I'm a one-on-one 8, and I think you're a self-preserved 8. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Hunter's a self-preserved person too. Yeah. Actually, most of my staff are preserved. So self-preservation, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
So I'm more of the, hey,
Yeah.
You're the thinker.
Yes. Yeah. I'm introverted. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think the best thing I heard about introverts was we had hired a new photographer, which she'll be here in May, which she'll be shooting the Women's Barbell Classic for you guys.
Very excited about that. Can't wait.
But I think the best thing that she described herself was, I'm an introvert that learned how to be an extrovert.
Yes. Yep.
You feel like that too?
Absolutely. In order to survive in the corporate world, you had to be that way. But learning over the last couple of years how to put up boundaries so that I can preserve and make sure that I come in a healthy state and don't overtax. Like the last couple of days I've been in face-to-face things. Work from home was a blessing for me. I don't know about anybody else. We're good. I'm good, work from home. But having to be constantly in front of people is very draining. And so I get home and then it's like, then I don't have the energy to do these other things that I want to do.
Yes.
So finding that balance has been really important.
That's probably why you'll be a good coach, because you can focus that time on that individual and that project.
Right.
So again, if you guys want to get in touch with Rachelle, check out Instagram, check out her website. You guys see it flash like right down here. Wow.
Magic.
There you go. Make it magically appear, Hunter. Drop it like it's hot. If you guys wanted to get in touch with Rachelle, I would highly, highly recommend it. Rachelle has done, didn't you do your front porch?
Yep. Yeah. I've done lots of inside stuff, outside stuff. Yeah. All the things.
Yeah.
I got that lift to paint my house.
Yes, you did. I remember seeing that. And I remember telling Abby, I'm like, what the hell is she doing now?
It's just a big piece of equipment that lifts me up like 2 stories.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Do it all.
Yes.
Rachelle has done it all, guys. You guys if you have a project and you have any questions or doubt, Rachelle is the person you need to talk to.
And even if I haven't done it, because actually, I mean, stuff I'm working on right now is stuff that I've not done.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be very open and transparent about that as I share on Instagram. Like I am but I like sharing that journey so that I can say, look, you're not alone in this journey.
Correct.
It's always learning, but we can get there. I like working through problems though. So if it's something, I will tell you, I've never done this, but we can work on it together if you want.
Yeah, you like to solve problems.
I do. Yeah.
But that's part of being a creative, is solving people's problems in a creative fashion.
Right. Think outside the box.
Yeah, that's what I teach my kids all day long, is how can we solve this problem in the most efficient and and how can we make it come to life in the best way possible.
Yep. And then learn. So try, learn, grow.
Build the system. Okay, Rachelle, that's our time. But again, if you guys want to get in touch with Rachelle, we'll flash all the information. Check out her Instagram. She has a link tree. You can get all that information. You want to join her community, she will let you in. If you want to DM or send an email, you can get in touch with her. Rachelle is an easy person to get in touch with. I can testify to that. Thanks for your time. I appreciate so much of it. And then I hope it blows out for you.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. All right. We out.